Alright guys, what is up? So today I'm going to try to catch you guys up on what's been going on. Sorry for the sound in the background. That's actually the air pumps I have going right now because I am doing water changes on both my tanks. So I have some really bad news to share with you guys that I'm pretty sad about. But trying to talk you guys through that. But first we're going to start with, I'm going to give you guys a little update on the babies. And while I'm putting them back in the tank, I'm going to be showing you guys what they look like now from when I first got them. And just kind of going one by one on how they're developing and what kind of quality that I think they are now that they've gotten just a tad bit bigger. So stay tuned and hope you guys enjoy the video. All right, so I'm gonna try to move pretty quickly here so these guys don't run out of oxygen in this bucket. So first up, we got this little guy here. So as you can see, this is Ace. That's what I've decided to name him. He's probably like my best quality Ranchu I've gotten. Really nice, good back there. Really good curvature in his back, really nice, just really everything about him, honestly. He's Ace, or no, my apologies, that's Kobe. That's my second best quality Ranchu. Yeah, so that's Kobe there. This right here is gonna be Ace. So he is actually my best quality. Beautiful curvature in his back. Really good quality one right there. So those two are already my two best quality Ranchus that I have. For sure. This water's really cold. I might, compared to what I'm putting in. So this is my biggest guy. He's not very big from the top view, but he's got a decent curvature in his back. He's just kind of got a longer back. But yeah, he's definitely the biggest one by far. Then we got, that one right there was Kirby. We decided to name him Kirby. Yeah, I don't know, these just kind of random names that I came up with on the spot. This is Kevin, right here. So he's another probably second to last, least quality guy. So he looks exact same colors of a comet goldfish that I got when I first got into goldfish. And Kevin, I named him Kevin. He was probably one of the first goldfish I had. And he just reminds me of Kevin, RP Kevin. He died from swim bladder, actually. And then my fastest swimmer, but by far worst quality goldfish, is Dopey. So this guy, really just genetic abomination, honestly, but he's cool. I still love him, still happy to have him. But yeah, so that's it for those guys, and now we're gonna go to the next part of the video, which is catching guys up on some unfortunate news. All right, so I do have to show you guys some two new additions, but first and foremost, before I get to the additions, because I know that's what you guys want to see, is fish and not me. So unfortunately, I do have to announce that we have lost OJ. So this is probably gonna be the title of my video. But just to kind of explain real quick before we get to showing off the new additions, I'm gonna kind of explain what happened. So OJ, and I feel like she deserves a whole story time just because she was an OG. She was the last OG of Golden Boy Aquatics. RIP Hershey, and now very sadly I have to say RIP OJ. So when we transported them here, I figured there would be no problems. There might be a little bit of stress, but the fact was we were only going to be here in this setup for a couple weeks, and she was going to be going back to her normal home. So we got her here. She looked like she was doing okay. She seemed fine. At first, the first couple of days, I started noticing that she was eating very little. She usually destroys her food, but I had noticed that every time I came down here, there would still be food in the bottom of her tank. I checked the water levels over and over, because like I said, it was a downgrade from a 30 to a 15, but the water levels stayed perfectly fine. But I had noticed that there had been some foaming coming from the sponge filter, so I thought, okay, maybe it's not oxygenating the water. When I noticed that was probably, I'd say, about a week into being in this setup. I had gotten a new baby pearl scale goldfish, and I decided to, rather than exposing all of my baby ranchus, I decided to put her in OJ's tank, because since OJ wasn't eating, I was going to go ahead and start OJ on another parasite feed, because I thought maybe she had a parasite. She was very lethargic, not swimming around much, signs of a lot of stress. And by this point we had been here, so I figured she would have settled in already. But I decided, I'll just put them both together. That way I can both start them. I'll start them both on the parasite feed, and that way kind of quarantine them together. So what ended up happening is I came down here one day and I noticed that the pearl scale had passed. If you watch my TikTok, I did show creamsicle on there. That was my little pearl scale goldfish. But she was dead. And I checked the water parameters. The water parameters were perfect. So there was nothing wrong with the water. And I thought maybe she just came sick. Maybe she was sick. I noticed where I got her from, the tank that she was in, after the fact that I went back. It almost looked like maybe there had been some type of outbreak in there, and a lot of the fish in there were dead. But I didn't see any white spots on her, so I didn't believe it was ick or anything like that. And it could have just been stress, moving her to a new tank. So I was like, I really don't know. She was probably just sick. So long story short, I believe it was actually later that day that I found creamsicle dead. I was calling around to local fish stores because I really wanted to get a pearl scale, because I kind of fell in love with creamsicle and I thought she was beautiful. And I just thought, it happens. Maybe she was just sick. I'm going to try again. So I found out there at a local fish store here, at a different one, that there had been somebody who had dropped off some fully grown adult fancy goldfish. I was like, I got to have them. They're like full grown. These goldfish go for like hundreds of dollars, and they were selling them for $15. So I went out and picked up a brand new adult Blackmore and a brand new adult Oranda, which is the same type that OJ is. And I'll show you guys those guys in a minute. But so at this point, I had OJ was eating a little bit better after I had removed creamsicle. I ended up putting her back on pellets because she was not eating the parasitic flakes. And even when I say she got better at eating, she would eat like maybe a couple pellets, and that was it. So I added those guys into the tank, and right before OJ died, right before I came back down here and found her dead, I had noticed that all three of them were at the very top. They were breathing very heavily. They were gasping for air. So after I came back down, I went upstairs, went to get batteries for my air pumps, and then came back down and OJ was dead. So I do believe my problem with that setup is, for whatever reason, even though it was perfectly fine in the 30 gallon, and it could have just been, I don't believe it was because, it's probably considered overstocked. That's why I've been doing water changes every single day. And I don't believe it was stress related. I do think it was straight up a lack of oxygen. And I think adding those two new adults in there kind of took away what OJ was able to get. And I think the stress mixed with the lack of oxygen is what ended up ultimately killing OJ, unfortunately. So it is my fault. I wish I would have noticed it sooner and figured out the problem sooner, and maybe looked at the symptoms of what they were doing faster. But that's just reality of it is. The sponge filter was perfect in her 30 gallon, even with Hershey in there, which it was low stress there because she was used to it. She had a tank mate. And I think just being used to being alone for so long, and then introducing multiple new tank mates at once, sorry, I didn't mean to keep shaking the camera, kind of really stressed her out, and a lot more than I had anticipated. And then on top of the low oxygen levels in the water, I believe is what killed OJ. So it's a great learning lesson. I hate to say it, it's very discouraging. As a fish keeper who loves to keep multiple fish, it is extremely discouraging because it makes me feel like I did her. I wasn't enough to take care of her. And it's very discouraging, very sad and unfortunate, but it's just a lesson learned and move on from here. And yeah, so next up, I'm going to be showing you guys my new additions to Golden Boy Aquatics, and hopefully you guys love them. All right, guys, so like I was telling you before, we got some new additions. They are full-grown adults. They're huge. So first up, we got Pumpkin. She is a very beautiful, big orange oranda. And as you can see, she's huge. Then we got a beautiful, huge Blackmore male in here. He's crazy. Try to get him to calm down a little bit. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to get him quick. That's about all you can see of him. He's crazy. But yeah, so these are my new additions. Like I said, they are fully grown adult fish. We got the Oranda and the Blackmore. I'm gonna try to breed them just to see if you know what I'm planning on doing works. Can't really see Midnight. He's the black one, and then Pumpkin's the orange one. But yeah, our plan is to try and attempt to breed these guys when we get back home and see how that goes. These guys are actually going into the 55, and the babies are going to be going into OJ's O-Tank until I get another 55. But so yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and stay tuned until next time.